Hello everyone, back again with a story recap. Before we get to the storyline, I wish all a happy and great day. The film opens with a girl named Jo who is obsessed with relationships with men. She tells the story of the details of her life to a strange man. She loves making love with men to the point of madness, as she used to sleep with 10 men in one day. Despite that, she wanted more and more, because her desire was equivalent to the desire of 100 women. We see a man named Seligman as he is walking home. He encounters a middle-aged woman named Jo who was in severe pain. He quickly woke her up and told her that he would call the ambulance, but she asked him not to do that and that if he did, she would leave before they arrived. She told him she just wanted a cup of tea, so he took her with him to his house and started preparing tea for her. He allowed her to shower and gave her new clothes. Then he asked her about what happened to her and if she had been beaten, but she told him that it was her fault and that she was a bad person. She was a little hesitant to tell him the truth, then she started telling him her story. She revealed to him her desire to sleep with men since her childhood when she was 7 years old. She and her friend, whom she refers to as B, were throwing water on the ground and sliding for fun. Then her mother suddenly knocked on the bathroom door. She also told him that she loved her father, who worked as a doctor, and was over here snoring like everyone else. She also told him that she loved climbing rope in gym class because she loved the feeling between her legs. Then he told her that he didn't think the children were wrong. According to Jo, she does not emphasize that all children are sinners, while he does not want to see sin in her story. Then she revealed to him that when she was a teenager, she had to lose her virginity. She knew a guy named Jerome when she was 15 years old, and she found him an attractive person, so she went to him and asked him to make love to her. Indeed, they made love. Years later, she and her friend dressed sexy and rode the train without buying tickets. They were betting on who among them would have the most encounters with men, and the winning person would get candy. The two girls continued to wander between the train cars. She entered a trailer where there was a family and started asking the man questions. On the other hand, B managed to get the first and second men. Jo was finally able to make love with someone, and then they kept doing it and finding men to make love with. Then they went to the first class cabin where they were asked for tickets. She told him that the tickets were in her bag and that she couldn't find her bag, but he claimed that she did not buy a ticket. He gave her a ticket worth $8, but B tore up the ticket unexpectedly. A man then paid for their tickets, and B tried to approach him, but he refused. They wanted to return the favor to this man, who was kind to them in their own way. The man told them that he was in a hurry because he and his wife had been trying to have a child for a long time, and that his wife was ovulating, so he was trying to rush home to have sex with her. Jo understood why he refrained from making love to her, but despite that, she approached him and tried to seduce him. Indeed, she managed to do that. Jo had no regrets about doing these things. She claimed that because of her, a man might inexplicably be able to have children. Seligman then leaves the room and returns to find Jo asleep. Then she woke up and noticed a watercress cake on the plate. She was surprised and, with a fork, revealed to him that she knew someone who ate watercress cake with a fork. She then started talking about a person named Jerome. She mentioned that she was sleeping with many men and told all of them that he was the only one who was good at it. Jo went to a nightclub where the girls promised not to sleep with the same man more than once to avoid developing feelings. Jo earned the nickname the vacuum cleaner because of her high sexual ability. At a girls' meeting, she admitted that she had slept with a man more than once, which led to her friends scolding her for it. It was revealed that the company's president was Jerome, the one who took her virginity. She told Seligman that she went to meet the secretary to work in the company, and despite her lack of experience, he decided to hire her. After that, he tried to enter into a relationship with her, but she refused and began sleeping with other employees. While alone in the office, she started thinking about Jerome and began to feel longing for him, ultimately falling in love with him. She started to stop making love with others. Eventually, she learned his address and went to see him, but she never rang the doorbell. One day she wrote a letter expressing her feelings, but took a month to gather the strength to submit it to him. When she finally went to him, she found Jerome's uncle, who told her that he had traveled with his new wife. He also fired her from her job because she had no work experience. After that, she went back to looking for men, and within a few years, she had a large number of lovers. She found it difficult to remember whose voicemail she was listening to and to note individual relationships. One day, her lover, whom she referred to as H, refused to leave the apartment while she waited for her next lover to arrive. She asked him to leave because she knew he could never leave his family for her. Then she prepared for the arrival of her next lover. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door, and to her surprise, it was H who had come. He left his wife and children and returned with his bag. His wife was at the door and explained that she wanted to ensure he arrived safely after making such an important decision. The woman led the children into the room and told them that this was the place where their father used to work. After a while, another lover arrived. The woman took the flowers he was carrying and introduced him to all her children. Then, she asked Joe how many people she could destroy in one day. Joe tried to clarify that this was a big misunderstanding. She told the children that she did not love their father, but their mother insisted she was saying that to make them feel better. The mother added that if this were a joke, it would be a terrible one. She then asked the children to leave before things got too terrible. One of the children returned to hug his father, but the mother pulled him away, not wanting to give his father a guilt complex. In a fit of anger, she shouted at him. Silman asked her if this experience affected her life. She had nothing to add, stating that one cannot build a nest without breaking some eggs. She then revealed to him that she was not addicted to lust and had no utmost need for it. The narrative shifted back to the past, where she was visiting her father in the hospital. Her mother did not come to see him. When her father woke up, he defended his wife by saying she was afraid of hospitals, but Joe called her mother stupid. That night, her father woke up screaming and crying, and despite Joe's attempts to calm him down, he was unresponsive. Shortly after, the doctor arrived to control the situation. After that incident, Joe wandered into the hospital and ended up making love with the janitor. The next day, her father died. She claimed that after his death, she didn't make a big fuss about it, but she felt angry and ashamed of her mother. Quickly, she left the room, leaving Joe alone. Joe continued to explain the insult she felt from her mother as she had come to witness her father's death, which upset her. Upon hearing this, Seligman understood that Joe wanted to portray herself in a particular light. Her father had a dark attitude towards her, making her feel inferior, as if she was worse than everyone else. Despite this, it seemed that Joe loved him but never expressed her feelings. Joe then began discussing her 3 lovers again. We see one of her lovers waiting for her in the car for an hour with flowers because she was with someone else. After she let him in and offered him coffee, it became clear that she was managing her time between multiple men while working a full-time job, all the while feeling lonely. As she walked, she discovered fragments of photos scattered on the ground. Picking them up, she realized they were pictures of her and Jerome. Suddenly he appeared, and she was overjoyed to see him. It turned out he had come to this place after a quarrel with his wife, which led him to tear up his pictures with her. They were reunited and their relationship was warm and affectionate. However, just as suddenly she left her lover's life. Seligman asked her what was going wrong between them, and she admitted that she was unable to feel anything but tears. In the end, Joe's story remained wide open, setting the stage for the continuation of this strange narrative in the second part.